Good morning, everyone. Today I'm going to be focusing on today's tutorial about the kettlebell snatch. I'm going to go over points, performance, execution, setup, not necessarily in that order, but I'm also going to talk about some modifications if you don't have a kettlebell or if you need to modify this movement at any point. So let's get started. I'm going to give you guys hopefully an angle that you can see. Kettlebell's right there on the floor. Talk about setup position first. If I'm going to face you guys, I have my feet underneath my shoulders. I prefer a wider base. It allows me to have better stability. Also, think of your base as like a triangle. I'm gonna feel like I have a better position to extend my hips. If you go too wide though, it's gonna be hard because your knees may fall in. So find a position where your feet are underneath the shoulders. Kettlebell is actually going to be in between your feet or slightly behind. So from a side profile, I will actually have my heels lined up with the middle or the front of the bell. This is going to allow me to hinge my hip, close my hip a little bit more so I get a little more extension as I come up to do the kettlebell snatch. So I'll demonstrate one on each arm so you guys can see. On the opposite arm. So similar movement pattern to a dumbbell snatch, which I'll talk about a little bit later as a modification. But today I'm going to be focusing on the kettlebell snatch in terms of execution. Like I said, my feet are underneath my shoulders. I have my bell set up in between or at the heels of my feet. The more you have that kettlebell back, the more you'll be able to create some extension from your hips. As I go to setup, I actually like to grab the inside handle of the bell. So if you guys can see from here, if this is the bell, I'll bring it closer. If this is the bell and I'm facing out, I like to grab the inside like so. That's going to allow me to have a better position as I go to snatch the bell up, and as it rotates over my wrist, it's going to be a better position on the back side of my wrist. So I'll show it a 45-degree angle there. So I'll grab the inside of the kettlebell, palm is facing my body. In this position, my hips are closed. I have a bend in my knee and my hip. As I go to extend, I'm going to open up my hip, and as I open my hip, I'm going to transfer momentum from the hip into my arm, and as the arm comes up, elbow comes high and out to the side, and as that kettlebell is coming up and over, I'm just dropping low so you guys can see, I'm then going to punch my arm through the kettlebell, so by the time I get to the arm overhead, the kettlebell doesn't flop over. I'll try to demonstrate a flop. It's not going to feel the best in my form. I'll adjust the camera so you guys can see more of an upright angle. But again, the intention of this punching through the kettlebell is going to allow me to avoid the flop. So I'll try to demonstrate a flop here. If I go kind of slow, the kettlebell will come up and see how it kind of flops on the wrist. All right, again, demonstrate again. If I don't do any punch through, arm kind of flops out to the side. So you need to be aggressive at the extension of the hip, but then as the arm comes up, I want to aggressively think of punching up towards the sky, so there's a smooth transition of the bell from underneath to above or around the hand. So when I punch, I extend the hip, straight my shoulder, and I punch through. I did that pretty aggressively, that I almost had a little extra space, but notice that I'm walking out the arm with the kettlebell on the back side of my forearm. As I come back down, I prefer to bend my elbow, almost creating like a rack position with my body, and as I do that, I then can come back down to the floor and I let it rotate through. Again, as I switch arms, my hand will come to the inside. So if I'm facing you, I'm going to grab the right side of the kettlebell handle with my left arm. If I'm snatching with my right arm, left hand side of the kettlebell. So again, I'll demonstrate from a different angle so you guys can see. If I'm going from opposite arm, I'm going to shrug, elbow, wrist as I punch through the bell. So again, like nice and easy. So again, I'm trying to think of creating momentum here as the bell comes up. I want to have a smooth transition so the hand comes through. If you're not fast and efficient or quick, then that bell's going to flop over on the back side of that forearm. So again, that's the reason I have my kettlebell at the base of my feet or heels, so that I get an extension momentum for that kettlebell to smoothly transition overhead. Now, I'm demonstrating with a 35. I recommend starting a little bit lighter in weight if you guys have that option. This is going to allow you to find the technique. That could be 12 pounds, 6 pounds, 8 pounds, but the intention is to find the timing piece. It's going to be fast extension of the hips and then fast punch through with the arm. Now, if you don't have a kettlebell, you're not able to practice, the default could be dumbbell snatches. It's going to mimic. If you're just learning to snatch with a dumbbell or kettlebell, highly recommend starting with a dumbbell first. That's going to get the timing component of core to extremity, meaning your hips are going to open, then you're going to shrug, and then finish the arm overhead. So adjust the camera so you guys can see again, hopefully full range of motion. I'm going to be grabbing my dumbbell now to demonstrate this. So with the dumbbell, I prefer to have the dumbbell between my legs. If I do this, same setup, I'm going to push my butt back, arms going to grab the dumbbell, I'll extend at the hip, shrug my shoulder, elbow comes high. Then as I punch the dumbbell up, I'm gonna drop underneath it slightly. Like so. As I come down, dumbbell can come in front of me, and then I can switch. So for this modification, the dumbbell is a great option. If not, then the kettlebell. Again, light load. Practicing the kettlebell will be important. You can break down the movement by having no load and focus on extension of the hip, shrug of the arm, and then punch through. So just finding that timing component. So by the time you get to the load, you're able to allow yourself to open the hips, shrug the shoulder, and then elbow, and then wrist. So again, core to extremity, hips, shoulders, arms, and again, finishing with overhead. The bell is gonna be super important. Kettlebells are great exercise you guys incorporate. If you guys like more coaching or want more coaching, I have my fitness app link below that you guys can check out, and you can incorporate a lot of different exercises. I include kettlebell snatches, kettlebell swings, but goblet squats, anything with a kettlebell and dumbbell I incorporate into my strength and tone program and workout of the day program. If you don't have equipment, you're more than welcome to check out my 28-day challenge and my 38-day challenge that requires no equipment that you guys can utilize for that. So again, just one more final demonstration of the kettlebell snatch. Using my hips to generate momentum and then finishing with my arm by punching through. Again, that kettlebell being at a low angle and resting on the back side of the form will be beneficial versus having it flop over. It does not feel good. You will have bruises the next day. I just speak from experience. If you guys love this video, feel free to share with others. Feel free to leave a comment of what you're looking for, specifically movement-wise. If you're looking for a coach and want more, again, feel free to check out the link below. That will take you to my landing page and you can check out my app. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you tomorrow for another live tutorial. Take care and have a great day.